What's up, guys? Max Finn here. Now, the other day I was asked a question, and this is a pretty common question a lot of people get. And essentially it was, hey, if you had to start over again, if you had to go back to space number one on the board and start over, right? Monopoly, return to start and play the game again. But you had kind of your knowledge and skill set, or at least your skill set. What would you do? But you didn't have the money, you didn't have the resource, all that stuff. What would you do? And I thought a lot about it, and I've been thinking a lot about it the last few weeks because what's interesting is it's kind of like, as I started my career and weave through, I've made every mistake you could think of, every disaster you could think of, every wrong move you could think of, and over the years have kind of just corrected course, learned, learned, improved, optimized, right, all those things, and kind of where we're at now with our kind of unicorn and the umbrella that owns all of our different businesses, we've ended up in a place that I think if I could go back and start again, it's such a clear, obvious line to building what we're building. If I had just kind of done it sequentially, it would make so much more sense. But I didn't do it that way. So what I figured anyway, I didn't do it, but I could come on here on YouTube and explain the way that I would do it. So I had to start again, and I had to build an 8-figure business, and I do it the most kind of efficiently as possible without requiring massive amounts of capital or outside investment. Kind of just bootstrap day one, you and your intelligence, you and your skills. What would that move be like? And in future videos, I might dive deeper into each one of these sections because, frankly, each one of these businesses is, you could spend days doing trainings and sessions and workshops on how to do them effectively. And frankly, I'm still learning how to do them effectively, right? Because you're never perfect. You're never great at something. You're always getting better. You're never the best at something. You can always improve. But I figure for this video, we can kind of talk at a high level what each step in that playbook would look like. And then in future videos, if you guys enjoy this, and by the way, if you watch my videos and you like my videos, make sure to subscribe button, hit the little bell notifications to get my future videos, and drop a comment. Let me know that you want more of these videos or want me to dive deeper in this topic. And I can definitely do that in future videos. So, okay, let's start with square one. Now, this is a business. So what would I do kind of day one? First business I would create, first thing I would do. And this is one I have mixed opinions on. If you watch videos of me recently, I can be kind of harsh on this business, but I'm harsh on it because I don't think it's the most scalable because I'm at a different point in my career. However, I think it's one of the best businesses to start when you're young, hungry, when you don't have a lot of capital or resources or connections, right? And that's an agency. Typical agency, retainer based, either flat cash and or percent of ad spend, whichever's higher, based on some type of service you can offer. Now, I'm going to speak, assuming that most of you watching my videos are probably in the marketing world in some level. So you have some level of expertise in marketing, whether you run Facebook ads or TikTok ads, or you do copywriting, whatever it might be. That's your thing. You're good at it. You start an agency. And the reason I like starting agencies is because when you're young, when you're getting started, it really doesn't require much capital. You don't have to put a lot of money into it. You don't need to raise outside capital. You don't need a big team. You don't need software. You don't need engineers, right? You really just need you, your brain, your skills, and to start, hitting the ground, start networking, start building relationships, start building some influence, some authority, start, hitting Facebook groups, posting on social, going to events, speaking on podcasts, like getting wherever you can get visibility, start building some, initial clients, and getting, 3, 5, 6 clients at $4 or $5 a month is not that challenging, but that's a great amount of money for pretty much anybody if it's just you, but especially if you're young and just getting started. So that's where I would start. And I think if you're thinking about I'm new to this space and I'm just developing skills, what would I be doing? Looking at what's hot right now, right? I know there's evergreen stuff that's always going to be there. There's Facebook, there's Google, there's SEO, there's these things. The challenge though is those are saturated and highly competitive. There are people in that space that have been on space for a very long time. They're really, really good at it. And they have teams and teams of people that are also really good at it. They have resources. They have a track record, case studies, influence. So it's hard unless you're just you've cracked it and you're just so badass and good at it. That's one thing. But if you're just kind of, I'm okay at it, I'm getting better every day, it's going to be hard to pick that type of thing, unless the other caveat is if you're going after a very specific market. So you go after a very specific subset of a market that nobody's really factoring or working on. That's another thing. But looking at things that are hot right now, you look at AI. Everybody's talking about, ChatGPT. They're talking about AI as the future for everything. If you could get really good at helping businesses incorporate these tools into their marketing, into their copywriting, email marketing, advertising, script writing. That's a great service. Twitter is getting more and more popular. We'll see where it goes. But if you could get really good at Twitter ads or Twitter growth marketing, another great growth market right now, at least for the time being. So I look at some of those things. Okay. So that's step one, is I would work on. And again, like I said in the beginning of this video, building and growing all this stuff requires lots and lots of more time and conversation than I'm going to have in this video, but just, I want to go through high level stuff. So agency, retainer, you get 5 to 10 clients. You're getting to, say 40, 50, 60 grand a month in billings coming in, monthly recurring. And again, why I like agencies to start is it's relatively easy. It's relatively low cost. It's reliable, consistent cash flow. That's great. That helps us with phase 2. So phase 2 would be adding performance to your agency. So by this point, maybe it's you and you have 1 or 2 other buyers or 1 or 2 other members of your team that are also fulfilling whatever service you're offering. And you're starting to grow a little bit. Now you look at it as performance. So we'll assume we're on the media buying side of it. And so this is something I think a lot of people don't jump into. More and more people are doing it, which is great. I've been talking about it for years and years and years, and more people should be doing this. And when I say performance marketing, I'm talking about basically affiliate marketing. So it's, hey, you find an offer, a business out there that's willing to pay you a cost per acquisition. They're willing to pay you a CPA or a CPL or a CPC, depending on the deal. And you front the capital. You front the money. So unlike a traditional agency where brand comes to you and says, I'll pay you $5,000 a month or 15% of ad spend, and that's your compensation, whether you're spending whether you make me $10 million a month or $10,000 a month, this is basically what you're getting paid. Over here with performance, you kind of have this massive potential for earnings without putting in actually more input, which is also why I like performance. So it's this great balance between over here, you have your consistent, reliable cash flow that funds the business. Make sure you get a paycheck every day, or paycheck every 2 weeks, paycheck every month. Your team's getting paid, your overhead's covered, and then you have a buffer. And then over here, you can start working in some offers that have much more earning potential. Because again, over here, you're basically putting the same amount of work to run the accounts. So Facebook account here, Facebook account here for client versus performance, basically the same stuff's happening. You're getting creative made, you're testing new creative, testing new audiences, you're testing cost caps, you're scaling, all that stuff. Except over here, you're really just if you're at a 10, 12, 50% of ad spend, sure, you're going to make more money as you spend more, but the client's always going to say, hey, we need to hire ROAS. They're going to say we have inventory. There's always reasons to keep scale down. And even at even spending $1 million a month, you're probably going to be tiered down to, 8% maybe. And some people, maybe it's 10%, 8%, 7.5%, whatever it is. That's 80 grand a month. Not scoffing at that. That's a lot of money, but it's 80 grand a month to spend $1 million a month for an ad account. Most people are never going to, most agencies are never going to spend $1 million per client a month, right? Maybe they have one client spending, 100,000, 500,000. That's for most of them. Some of the big guys are going to spend millions a month per client, but most aren't. On performance over here though, $80,000 a month on a really hot performance offer is not crazy. That happens a lot. There's a lot of times on our top offers, things are hitting. We're doing 10, 15, 20K profit a day. Now, again, that's not going to last forever, but that's a day. And again, it's the same amount of effort being put into it than you would put over here. So performance, retainer-based agency. So now you have 2 pieces of this puzzle. One that gives you kind of stability and consistency, knows that your bills are going to be paid. This one begins to give you some more earnings potential, higher ROI on time and input, which I really like, right? Having basically everything we're talking about today in this video is each step is how can I have a greater ROI on time? How can I have a higher ROI on dollars put in? Basically on resources. And it's starting from things that have the least to the things that have the most, plus things that have large exit potential, large liquidation events in the future. So that's step 2. Now, one caveat also I forgot to mention, ideally for this to work really well, and if I go back in time, what I would do is get hyper focus on a specific product category or market. Because each step along this journey, you're able to leverage learnings from the previous step to start a little further ahead. So what a lot of people end up doing, they start an agency and they just want to take any client they can get on. So they're running ads for a gym, a beauty salon, a chiropractor, a supplement, a t-shirt business. The problem with that is there's no synergies. You're running this account, but you're not really learning anything to help with this account or this new account. What I like to do is hey, let's say you focus on like nutrition, supplements, health and fitness. Okay. So you have a few clients, supplement clients, vitamin clients, things over here, workout, fitness. You're learning what works. So if I run the Tropics, for example, you're learning like this angle, this creative style, this audience, this funnel, this lander, this crushes for Nootropic, this price point, right? This is kind of the number. I know the numbers, the baseline metrics. Now you can take these learnings and go find some hot Nootropic offers that pay on a CPA basis and start from a much better place because you basically been paid to learn what works for that market. And then you can leverage that to find the best offers with better payouts and you know the numbers already and make a lot of money. So you want to have synergistic kind of markets across the board. So that's number 2 is the performance market. Number 3 is then info. Okay. And a lot of people like, info, I don't want to do info. I don't want to do Facebook business. I think info is like one of the easiest ways to do 2 things. One, to make high margin kind of cash, right? High profits. It's a high profit business. And then 2, create this flywheel where it then brings in warm leads into your retainer agency, into your performance agency, right? That's the way we look at info. Info for us is not, it makes good money, but it's not about that. It's one for me, it's about impact. I just genuinely love doing it. I like helping. I like talking. I like teaching. And then 2, it's everything I put out there brings in deal flow. People want to work with us. So people that don't want to, they're like, hey, I saw all your courses and stuff. We're too big. I don't want to learn it. I just want to pay you to do it. Cool. Warm lead coming in for our agency that I can send over there. So info. The other reason why I like doing info at this point, not starting, a lot of people start info, like try to start really early in the game. And that's a problem. One, you don't have the credibility and the clout or the influence yet. And 2, you're creating everything for info. Whereas with this, again, leveraging time, highest ROI on time. By the time you would do info, you've already built an agency. You already now performance. By this point, you should have SOP, strategies, tactics, all these kind of in-house, resources and assets that you developed, and strategies and tactics and hacks and all those things, creative resources, systems, tracking, reporting, all the things that are going to be valuable to people that can't afford to work with you, but want to learn. So you should have a lot of the content already created. Now it's a matter of organizing it, structuring it, packaging it. There's still work that goes into it. You need to build out the offer, the funnel, the landing page, all that stuff. But info. So you have retainer agency, performance add-on to the agency, then info, essentially teaching all the things that you're learning and creating inside this agency. Okay, so you have that. And that creates that flywheel where now it brings in warm leads into your agency. So you have 3 things now. So you have, again, agency, performance, info. Now 4 is leveraging all of the resources you have within the agency to build your own brands. Okay, so that's step 4. Is you either build your own brands. And again, this is why I like staying in the same markets, because if you stay in the same markets across the board, you've developed deep market expertise in scaling a specific type of product. So nootropics or a fitness business or an apparel business. Like if you have done that for years, you've really mastered that market. You know what it takes to scale a business. Now you can either build one organically, or you can look for businesses out there that's like, hey, this is a, $2 million, $5 million a year business that's run by a person that's kind of like flatline growth. They don't really know what to do with it. They want to retire. They don't want to be in anymore. Make a deal to buy it. Or maybe it's just, they made some mistakes or struggling. You can buy it for a great deal. So acquisition is also something to look at there. And then you can plug it in to your resources over here. So if you have an agency, you basically have an in-house growth engine. You have in-house resources for creative, media buying, other resources that you're going to need to fuel that company. So agency, performance, info, internal brands. And then 5, if you want to go kind of a further step down the line, is software. So it's looking at all of these things I've been building over the years and years and years. I'm figuring out like, hey, this is kind of a weakness. Like we need something for this. This is a problem that keeps coming up. This is a problem over here, a problem over here, a problem with this. You can either look for solutions. Maybe there's some that are out there or they're just not great. Or if no solutions exist, it's like, maybe you build something internally. You build an internal software, an internal tool that you're like, this is actually pretty good. You spin that off, and now you have a consumer-facing software product. And software is just such a high multiple business. So compared to your other businesses, like your agency and info, you can build something that actually has high multiple, high potential to be able to exit and generate large infusions of cash into your kind of portfolio business. And so that's what we're looking at is like, okay, there are going to be certain things you're building along the way that are cash generators, but aren't going to be exit event generators. They're not going to be large cash payday generators because they're hard to sell. Agencies, hard to sell, lower multiple. Info businesses, really hard to sell, low multiple. So everything you're kind of doing over here, you're just going to run it and it's going to make money. It's going to grow. And maybe you're able to sell it one day to the right strategic buyer. Maybe you're not. But over here, internal brands and software are building things that you could sell, you could spin off. You could even sell a piece of them, bring somebody in. So you're creating kind of this diversified portfolio of brands that all provide different value to the whole. And so, again, going back in time, and I know we covered a lot of stuff in this video, and I'll do future videos where I kind of dive deeper in each one of these kind of sections within the larger business. That's what I would do. If I was starting day one, I was trying to map out what a plan would be to build a 8-figure business, and to do it as efficiently as possible, and to be as confident in success as possible and as diversified as possible. That is the roadmap that I would look at. Again, roadmap, there's going to be a lot of sub bullets along the way to get there. There's going to be a lot of steps between all of those. But that's kind of where we ended up now. If you look at our business structure, if you kind of broke down all of our portfolio companies in our umbrella, that's kind of what we have. We have media buying agency, we have a creative agency, we have the performance component to it. We have internal brands over here, content sites, newsletters, e-commerce stores that leverage all of the resources over here. We have software now that we're starting to do, and then we have info that teaches everything and feeds a lot of business into the other businesses. So that's really, again, plenty of ways to get to 10 plus figure, not 10 plus, to 8 plus figure, 9 plus figure businesses. Lots of ways to get there. But for most people watching this that you have a really strong skill set, but you may not have the capital to do it, and you're looking, I got to bootstrap and get there on my own. This is a path that I think more people should be thinking about. And even if maybe you're already in the agency, if you're watching this, maybe you're not starting at square one, but you have an agency, but you're not sure what to do next. Start at step 1 that I put out here, which is agency, and then just go to step 2. That's what I would look at. So hope you guys enjoyed that. As always, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you get all my videos. And let me know in the comments if you like this one, want me to dive deeper in each one of these topics, and I'll see you on the next one.